There you go. It says we're live.
We're live.
It says we're live. Are we live? Is anybody here yet? Oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to see the... This is where
chat. Okay, the chat's
that's where the chat pops up, so we can answer people's questions as we're going live here. Hello? Hey, it looks like this is barely moving. Oh.
Some people are watching.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi from Chicago.
Can you all hear us okay? Sound check. Testes. 1, 2, 3. Testes. Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us live. You know who I am because you just saw the video and you see me here all the time. Gary was just on the Chasing Trains video, and this other mysterious person back here has also been on Chasing Trains once before. This is Kevin Hill.
Morning.
Yeah. So we decided to do a special live video this morning, and that way it gives everybody watching a chance to ask questions about our trip. Gary and I can speak to that.
Kevin, and I can make stuff up.
Yeah, Kevin's going to make stuff up, and that should be good.
Yeah,
he's good at making stuff up. It's all he does is make stuff up all the time. Can't believe anything he says because it's all made up. Yeah. Actually, you've seen Kevin on the channel a couple of times because not only did he go chasing trains out in Niles Canyon once, but we also, right here in the TSG Intergalactic Headquarters, did a video about rehabbing your American Flyer locomotives and rolling stock. So, hey, Alvin's here. Fabio, what's going on, Fabio? We don't have any dope donuts, but these guys do have Chasing Trains mugs. Look at this. Did you know
look at that? That was perfectly timed.
Right? Mm-hmm. Did you know you can get Chasing Trains mugs too? Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
you can get Chasing Trains mugs. Look, someone liked your American Flyer video, Kevin.
Awesome.
See that?
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully, we'll get more Flyer stuff on the channel in the future.
Right. We have some plans actually to do another American Flyer video sometime soon. Mm-hmm. So that should be good. It looks like I'm really, really bright here. I'm not very bright, but the sun is making me. Let's try this.
What sun?
Well, the sun's behind the clouds out there. Oh, look, I can actually see myself now. So anyway, we're here. If you have any questions, dope dude. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask, this is kind of an aside here. I got a really bizarre message on my answering machine yesterday, and I wondered if maybe it was Alvin Crank calling me because it sounded like they said something about dope donuts or something. I'm going to see if I can play it here because it was too bizarre not to. New message. Yeah, check this out.
No, new message.
Uh-oh.
Well, that went well.
Yeah, it didn't work. What kind of a stupid answering machine is this? It's actually doing what I asked it to do. Well, I guess I won't play it, but it was pretty funny. So, since these guys are full of things to say, I'll keep talking. Talked about the Chasing Trains mugs. You can buy those. You can also, if you become a Patreon train crew member, you can get one of these. You see what that is? That's a TSG shirt, and on the back, look what it says. Isn't that cool? You can get that by being a Patreon train crew member. Some of the people that are on the chat right now are train crew members, as are these guys. These guys are honorary train crew members because they do videos and do stuff that helps promoting the hobby and having fun on the channel. So it's very cool. Alvin is cleaning like crazy. He must be getting ready for you, Gary.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure it's all clean, Alvin. Oh, no. Okay.
Now somebody here, Max's Hobby Productions wants to do a Lionel video.
Oh.
I think we talked about that too. So we just need to find somebody
someone that has Lionel.
That does Lionel.
Oh, you don't do Lionel?
Eric does Lionel, I think.
Yeah, I think Eric does. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet the Lionels are very similar to the American Flyers inside, aren't they?
Motor and a reverse unit.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll happen eventually. It's just a matter of when, right?
We should restore a small locomotive. I agree. Let's
well, you did.
Yeah.
You did the American Flyers. Those are small locomotives. So anyway, how's everybody doing? Are you guys having a good weekend so far? Oh, Dean is here from Minnesota. There's no coffee in those cups right now.
It's
but
already been
the coffee
consumed.
the coffee was consumed in the cup right here. You see that cup?
I walked right into the studio here and was handed a coffee cup. So
Yeah.
I like that kind of service.
Yeah. He said as soon as Kevin got here, he says it was like a drive-through window because the coffee was ready for him on his way back to the intergalactic headquarters here. I can open the window. It feels hot in here. Or is that just me? Is it warm in here?
No.
Oh, it isn't? Oh, let me know if it gets it gets too cold. So anyway, the plans then, and I mentioned this on the podcast earlier this month. The plans are to go to Utah in about a week or two, something like that. Or
on the 7th. This is the 7th,
May 7th or something like that. Yeah. So Gary and I are going to go to Utah. This guy is too busy working too hard and stuff.
And I'm not that crazy.
Averse to large crowds. But the way we're planning to do things, look, someone's asking right now if we're going to see the big boy. That's why we're going. So yeah, gonna go and try to catch 4014 on its way to Ogden, and gonna try to catch the doubleheader on its way back to Evanston. And then after that, it's going to Rock Springs after Evanston, right?
I think
that's the
so,
second
yeah.
place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a few shots of that, hopefully decent shots. The lucky thing for us is that we know people, as you just saw in the Chasing Trains video, we know people from Utah who are nice enough to help and show us good places to film from. So that should be good, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah. So
I'm not going to be going this year. My thought is I'm going to wait a year for the excursion schedule next year to come out and see what they're going to. I'm assuming they're going to run it next year after they went through all this work. So I'm going to see what the schedule's doing next year. Maybe by that time, some of the hype will be off and it won't be quite as crazy, but it'll still probably be crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it will, no matter what happens, anytime UP runs steam, and it doesn't matter which one it is, 844 draws massive crowds too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but I think of it, I use the Disneyland analogy. You know, we went to the parks when Cars Land first opened up, and it was just nuts. Well, it's still nuts, but it's not as nuts. So,
so it's castrated now.
Can we say that live? I guess
castrated. Yeah.
It
has no nuts. It's female.
Yeah.
That's an easy joke.
Yeah.
You just can't say it doesn't have any something nuts.
Yeah.
You can't bleep stuff out, so you got to be careful with this guy.
I think I just gave the Trevor look when you did that joke.
Oh, that's right. That's another time when you saw Kevin on the channel was when we did the DCC installation of a decoder into a garden size. What was that? A three truck or two truck Shay. And that was with our friend Trevor Park, who's also been on the channel many times, either from the Fern Creek and Western when we're doing stuff out there, or he was on a Chasing Trains.
Or when I employed him as slave labor to put a decoder in my locomotive.
The decoder, that was my favorite video from last year. I don't know how many of you guys saw that one, but maybe look it up when this is done. It was installing a DCC decoder into a 2-truck Shay in garden scale with three professionals.
Parental advisory on that video.
No, I bleeped out most of the raunchy stuff, so it's pretty good. But we had a really good time that day, and yeah, I think Trevor really enjoyed the tri-tip that day.
He loves tri-tip.
Yeah. Do you know that joke, Gary?
I don't think so.
So we're installing this DCC decoder, or actually Trevor was installing the DCC decoder. And here's one.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah. Someone was asking me about that.
Also filmed post-war Markland maintenance video. Yeah. Well, that you must have seen the Markland video then, because I also play with Markland. So yeah, that could be something.
I'll get back to the story about installing the decoder in a minute, but I do want to mention that this guy, I haven't decided yet who's a bigger foamer. Actually, both of these guys, and Trevor. are the three biggest foamers I think I know, because Kevin, he works for a railroad all day and then he goes home and plays with his trains at home. So all he ever does, and if there's, and on his way home, if there's a train at the crossing, he'll stop and take a video of the train.
Yeah.
Right? He is the biggest foamer.
But in my defense, all three of my layouts are not modern, so I don't model the stuff that I run, so it's completely different.
Oh, yeah. So you're not a foamer, right?
Yeah. And one of them's toy train, so that's just, You're
not a foamer?
No.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit for good measure.
Oh, Trevor doesn't deny it. He just says, "Oh yeah, I'm a foamer." Hunter too. He says, "Oh yeah, what about it?"
Yeah.
You're a bit of a foamer too, Gary.
Well, I used to be.
What? Not anymore?
Well,
You're too tired now?
Yeah. I get up so late now. All the trains have gone by the time I get up.
Well, that's not your fault. UP doesn't run anything out here anymore.
Well, what was it yesterday? Whenever that special, 2 days ago, when that special,
the UP officer thing.
Yeah. That look at me. I'm the UP train.
Yeah.
By the time I got up, it was already in Sacramento.
Well, right, but so this is an idea of how foamy Gary is. He's going to have his tires changed or something worked on the car, and he finds an overpass and then posts a video of every train that came through.
Well, I did that,
That's foamy, Gary.
But but I wouldn't go out of my way to do that. I just happened to be downtown.
Yeah, but you still did it. You could have sat in the waiting room.
I could have, but that would have been boring.
Oh.
Well, I can do you one better.
Yeah.
Last week, my girlfriend was in a wedding in in Merced, and they have to go get everything set up for the venue and all that stuff because she was a bridesmaid, and I took that opportunity to drive around Merced and watch trains go through the town.
Well, whatever. You guys are foamer. I'm not, but you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of Hunter, I just want to mention I'm the second choice to him because he was supposed to be here today, but he had to work, so here I am.
Well, originally I had planned to have. Well, I invited Mike to come. Mike, who was in.
So I'm the third choice.
Yeah, you're third string.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel too important. I mean, you can't be second.
Yeah.
No, but it doesn't even matter. The point is to have fun and chat and talk to people and stuff. Someone in here, I was going to mention this. I wanted to try to do this a little bit more organized because usually we go live and then people are asking questions and we're having a conversation, but then the questions change the conversation. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe that's okay, but what I'd like to do is say, after 5 minutes, we'll just do a bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. And someone here is asking if we would go to Hanford to record trains. It'll happen at some point. I don't know when, but we'll probably get someone. I'll get out there at some point because I know that area is really busy. You have your BNSF main line and your UP.
And high-speed rail.
Yeah. Well,
we can sit by the tracks and wait for one of those to go by. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, the high-speed rail is a whole different story that we're not going to get into. Yeah.
But you need to finish the tri-tip story.
Let me finish the tri-tip story. So,
by the way, I did see the video of him putting in that decoder.
Oh, did you see the tri-tip, Joe?
I don't remember that.
Okay. So Trevor's working on the model because it's actually Kevin's model. Okay, so let me back up and set you guys up for this. So I get a call from Kevin one day. He says, "Hey, I have a DCC decoder I want to put in a locomotive. Can you help me?" And
because my working knowledge is on stuff that's 70 years old, and if it's got a computer chip in it, I'm lost. So,
and he knew that recently I had done some installs on these N scale models and some HO scale models. And see you later, Dean. And hi, Nate, by the way. So I get a call from Kevin. He says, "Hey, can you help me with a DCC installation?" And I said, "Sure. I've been doing some of that, so I getting pretty good at it, whatever." And then he told me, "Well, it's on a garden scale Shay." Well, I've never done anything on garden scale, so I wasn't really as confident suddenly. So then I thought, well, Trevor does. He does not only DCC installation, but everything they run at the Fern Creek and Western is battery powered too.
with DCC.
with
Yeah.
DCC, right? Well, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
I don't know. I don't do
I
battery.
think it does. Well, if you want to control it, it has to be DCC with battery. So I call up Trevor, and we both know Kevin because Kevin's
Yeah.
been to the Fern Creek and Western, and just
I'm kind of a big deal.
oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
a really super celebrity. Well,
Yeah.
he's been on the TSG multimedia channel, so he must be famous.
Yep.
Yeah. So hey, Sparky. Anyway, so I call up Trevor and I said, hey, Kevin wants to put in a decoder into a garden thing. So if you want to do a video about it, because he had done a video here once putting in a decoder into a garden scale locomotive. So he says, yeah, I'll do that. So he works a lot and doesn't have as much time, but
He also works for a railroad.
right. That's why I said he's also Foamer of the Year. I'm going to get a trophy and give it to one of you guys, and you can award it to the next guy next year. Anyway, so it took probably 3 months or 4 months to plan this thing to actually get time when we could all get together. So we're working on the thing finally one day, and we just made a whole day out of it, right? Because we didn't know how long it was going to take. And then in addition to that, you're also filming it, and that makes it take longer because whenever it's time to do the next shot, you have to start the camera and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're working on it, the idea was we were at your dad's house.
Yeah, because that's where the Garden Railroad is.
Right, the San Benito Southern. That's also on this channel.
That's also a layout tour that was done here, yeah.
Yeah. So his dad's making tri-tip for dinner, right?
Smoked, yeah.
Yeah, he was smoking it at the time, and he was in and out all day. If you watch the video, you can hear him laughing sometimes in the background at some of the stupid stuff we were saying. It's just like a different laugh, though. That's you can tell it's not either any of us, and it just sort of pops in sometimes when we're in there cutting things up. Anyway, so Trevor was complaining about something about how he's not getting paid for it, and
he was complaining that he was slave labor or something like that.
Right.
I says, well, you're going to get paid with tri-tip.
Right.
He says, you like tri-tip, don't you? He goes, I love tri-tips. I said, well, come over and try a tip of this.
Right. I was not expecting that.
And neither was he. And yeah.
he looks up at the camera like this. It was pretty funny, though. Anyway, so that's the tri-tip story.
Yeah.
So why don't we open this up to some questions? If anybody has questions about, let's see, well, American Flyer.
Yep.
Right. People don't know this, and you found out in the last episode of Chasing Trains, Gary worked for Southern Pacific. He doesn't talk about it much, but he did for actually, 20 years, 23 years, something like that.
Yeah, I had a little hiatus in the middle, but yeah, it was 20 years.
20 years. So he worked for the old SP 20 years. This guy currently works for a contemporary railroad, and I just make videos of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about any of that kind of stuff, or if you have questions about that trip to Promontory that we just showed on the channel, we can have question time here for a minute. Something real quickly while we're waiting for questions. I posted some models for sale on Facebook, and I know a lot of people on YouTube aren't on Facebook, but I wanted to give you an idea. I'm trying to raise a few bucks to help pay for the trip to Utah that's coming up in a week or two. So I have some of this stuff for sale. Covered hopper from Atlas. There's a flat car. That's a depressed center flat car from Exact Rail. And this is one that I kind of don't really want to sell, but I'm doing it anyway because I don't think I'll run it. You saw this locomotive on this channel. I did the DCC installation as a video. This is the MP15 DC painted in Union Railroad, not Union Pacific, but Union Railroad. That's it. I think it's on the East Coast someplace, number 23. This has a Loc Sound Select micro in it, and I put in a speaker as well, and it sounds really good. So you can see the DCC installation process on this video and the test run that I did at the South Bay Historical Railroad Society's HO scale layout. And the test run was done over maybe an hour or so. And that's the only time this locomotive has been run, so it's practically brand new. These, I think, retail for $279 or something like that, with DCC installed at the factory. So again, it's kind of, this was the first switcher I ever put DCC in, so it's kind of, I don't know, not sentimental. Well, I guess it is kind of. But anyway, if anybody's interested in any of that stuff here that's not on Facebook, you can just contact me directly through YouTube, or you can use podcast at TSG Multimedia. And if anybody makes a reasonable offer on any of this stuff, I got a bunch of N scale stuff too that I was trying to sell. So there's that. There haven't been a lot of questions yet. Are you going to see the big boy as well on your way up there? Well, the big boy is going to be there. So we're going to try to catch the big boy arriving or coming to Ogden from Evanston, to answer your question, Lone Wolf. And let's see here. Only way to see the big boy up close.
And that's why I'm not going.
Right. Yeah. What Dave Sparky said here. And you're right. It's going to be camp out, or we're not going to have a drone. But like I said before, we know people there who can direct us to places that are good to see, that may not be as crowded as the rest of the places. So hopefully that'll be enough, having sort of information of where to get up back roads or whatever. I just hope it's not such a madhouse that we don't get any shots of it. But as it stands, the plan right now is to go out there and catch it coming to Ogden. And after it arrives at Ogden, we're going to spend a day doing a layout tour, and, for a model railroad layout for the channel here. And then the next day, if I remember right, I don't have my calendar open, so I'm going off memory, which is a mistake for me. But the idea is to possibly go see the manufacturing plant where they're making Caltrain's new EMUs. I don't remember if I told you about that.
Yeah,
Gary,
you told me.
There's a possibility for that.
Where is that plant? I didn't even know about it.
It's in Salt Lake City.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Stadler is the name of it. It's some Swiss or Swedish company.
I knew that. I just didn't know where the plant was.
Yeah. So I guess their plant is finally fully built, and they're in the, they're even going to have an open house on one of the days that we're going to be there. So either we can go to the open house, or it should be cool. And then on one of those days, we're going to ride the train, the front runner train. That's Utah's version of Caltrain, right? Their commute service. And we're going to ride that to Ogden to check out the 4014 and the 844 at the, Union Station, I guess, Ogden Union Station. So, and my whole plan has always been to go and not go thinking that it's going to be a great chance to get videos of the trains, because it won't. There's going to be way too many people and too much stuff going on. And, the idea is to go just because it's an event, this is only going to happen once.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime thing, really.
Right? Yeah, because after May 10th, there's not going to be another 150th anniversary. And something tells me the 151st anniversary next year isn't going to be anything. They probably won't be celebrating that. So that's kind of the idea there. And, so Miguel Chavez is saying, don't sell the trains, keep them. I am keeping some. Actually, I'm keeping a bunch. Like I didn't bother to show you what's in my N scale case over here.
You showed me.
Yeah, I showed these guys earlier. So, but that's the other thing too. I seem to be staying active in N scale. Like I keep getting more N scale stuff, but I know for sure that I'm going to switch to HO at some point because N scale is too small.
When that becomes too small, you can switch to S and have an American Flyer layout in here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. American Flyer.
Yeah.
Keep working your way up as your glasses get thicker.
Yeah. You can have a garden railroad, and
I'll end up with garden someday.
7.5 inch gauge.
Then I'll have that would be big.
Yep.
So a journey to Steamtown. Michael Miller says maybe next year. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I just don't have the funding to do that.
That's on my list of things to do too.
Oh, Steamtown?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can make an epic journey out of that someday. that is definitely something I would like to do. And that's something, since someone mentioned it, I'll mention that is happening this year. Our friend and train crew member, Dave, you know him as Sparky 107, has arranged for, I think it's on May 18th at Steamtown, something that's being referred to as a YouTube meet and greet. That's where there's a whole bunch of people from YouTube going to show up and basically descend on Steamtown for the day and do foamer stuff. And he also arranged, and I just did an interview with him on the most recent podcast from earlier this month. So Steamtown, Pennsylvania. So if my details are a little fuzzy, you can watch that interview and he gives all the details about that. But he also rented or whatever, a dining car, what he calls the dining car experience, through one of the historical preservation societies there, where whatever the capacity is for the dining car, bunch of people can get onto this train car and have dinner together, which I thought was a really cool thing. And something else that he doesn't talk about really a lot, but I think is worthy of mention, and something that I think is admirable, is that not only did he set everything up, so he's doing all the work for this, but he actually ended up having to pay out of his own pocket for the last 8 tickets. Now he's still trying to sell them and trying to get people to go, but it's something like $85 a plate or $75. It's somewhere in that range, $80. So, I think that's pretty cool. That's something that if I could afford it, I would do it. But most people wouldn't do that. And it was really just so that it would happen, So if you guys don't know about that, check out Sparky 107. That's his YouTube channel. And he talks about it. He does a live stream every Wednesday at 7 Eastern time. And he talks about it on his live streams. That's something that I've found is kind of cool. There are a few guys, and some of the guys who were in the chat while we were watching the Chasing Trains video, but there's a whole sort of community of live streaming guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but they have regular times every week they come on. So that's one of the things that I kind of would like to do, but I just haven't had time for it. And usually when I live stream, I'll get somewhere between 30 to 50 people watching, but that's also with 26,000 plus subscribers to the channel. Some of these channels have 4,000 subscribers, but they get 70 people watching. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because they do it at the same time every single week. Mm-hmm. So people know when to
regularly scheduled program.
Right. Yeah. People know when to expect it. So, yeah. Speaking of live,
same time, same bat channel.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. Was there something?
Stu Structures says, "Good to see model railroaders and not just night owls. I was up till 2 a.m. working on the layout, and so."
Which layout though? He has 2 layouts.
Well,
you have 3 layouts.
I have 3 layouts. Working on a 4th right now.
What's the 4th one?
Markland.
What are the other 3? I know the Garden layout.
Garden Railroad, American Flyer, N scale.
Oh, do you count the N scale? You don't run that though, do you?
Sometimes.
Oh,
but yeah, it's there.
Okay, so he has 4 layouts. Well, that's good because I don't have any layouts unless you count the cloud.
I make up for you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think between the 3 of us, there's about 8 layouts, but it's mostly you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I only have an N scale layout. I haven't run that in years.
Yeah, but you have your HO layout that you're building.
I haven't started building it
yet.
He's
working on a big HO layout.
I'm getting rid of all the N scale stuff first.
Every week he sends me a new plan for his HO scale, and it keeps getting bigger. The plan every time now it's up to double deck. I'm trying to talk him into 3 decks.
See, and for me, it's just I have to fill all the available space that I have, like
with train stuff.
Yeah. I see an empty space. I'm like, well, what could I fit there? Oh, another layout. Okay.
Yeah, more train stuff.
And anybody that's a model railroader knows that no layout's ever done, so they're just a bunch of ongoing projects.
Right. Well, no, that's not true. Some layouts are done. I can think of two that I've done as layout tours that are done.
Yeah.
No, the layouts are done. I
never believe a person though when they say it's done because you're always thinking like, oh, I could change this or. Well,
Right. And when I say a layout's done, at least in one of those cases, I'm thinking of Jack Burgess.
Oh yeah,
It's done, but then he gets more information and rebuilds something
so it's
that's
not
better.
really done.
Well, the
Yeah.
layout's done, but maybe the structures are, or maybe you're still building. In his case, he's still building structures because he wants a model of every station that they had on the YV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't have room for every station because his layout had to be compressed, obviously, like most layouts. So he's building other stations that he can't put on the layouts, but doing it just for his own enjoyment because he's a builder.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of where my American Flyer layout's at right now. It's
right.
It's quote unquote done, but if I buy a new accessory or something, I'll move stuff around and figure out a way to get it in there.
You keep adding stuff to it.
I think one of the biggest problems over 30 years ago when I did have an HO layout, once you get the basic bench work and all the tracks in and everything, you want to run trains.
Yep.
And that kind of slows down all the scenery
all the
and
progress.
everything else that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I still think you should
And I had that problem with the little Markland layout I'm working on is I mocked it up first.
Yeah.
And I put all the track down on the bench work after I had it done just to see how everything was going to fit.
And it ran right.
And it ran right. And then I just wanted to
you
run the
ran it.
trains.
Yeah.
Well, then I took the track off and painted the bench work to a natural color. Now I got to put the track back on, but
probably later today.
Yeah,
get it done.
Yeah.
He'll be running trains again before you know. And probably the American Flyer layout is in the same room as the Markland layout, so he probably has the American Flyer
and the
trains,
N-scale layout.
Right,
they're all in the same room.
But do you have the American Flyer running when you're working on Markland, so you can actually hear it? What? He's laughing. I'm serious though. You do, right?
You have the sound of a train running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a derailment, and I have to run across the room. No.
Well, I'm just saying because you gotta have trains running.
Usually, I have some music or something like that going on, Doobie Brothers or something.
Oh, well, that works.
Yeah.
Why Doobie Brothers?
I don't know.
So
good, Jimi Hendrix, whatever.
Okay, that works.
If I'm feeling really crazy, Megadeth, I don't know. My music taste runs the gamut. So
yeah, mine does sort of, but it's usually mostly hard stuff.
Yeah,
Gary's jazzy.
Yeah,
Gary's
I get into a little jazz too.
Yeah. I can get into jazz on limited amounts of time. I'm not a big jazzy guy. Jazz requires too much attention for me because I have to really listen to it because I can appreciate it. I can appreciate almost anything.
Well, you're a musician.
That's why I can appreciate it. Well, you are too.
When I enjoy jazz the most is at about midnight, 1 a.m. in the layout room with all the lights out, just the layout lights on, and the buildings and the trains running around. You got a little jazz on. That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I can see you giving the little clap after each solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right in between.
Mm-hmm.
So let me check the chat here just to see if there's any questions.
Yeah. Now that we went off on a tangent.
That's okay though. We do tangents. We're good at that. Tangent's also the name of a model company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tangent Scale Models. They make very good models, very detailed models. They always remind me of the higher end stuff like Molico and Exactrail. Very good stuff. Quick thing. I saw someone ask a question earlier, but it's already passed by. So let me just check something here. Someone asked, it was a hello from Trainman3985. Hi, Michael. Great to see you too. And just in case anybody's wondering, this is Gary, Goofy Gary Perazzo, and Kevin Hill. Both of these guys have been on the channel here, so they should look familiar to you. And you know who I am because I've been on the channel since 2007, I think. So what is that, 11, 12 years? So let's see. You're one of the best, Steve. I don't know what Steve is. By the way, sorry for asking to come to Hanford. Oh, no, Hanford is a good place, though, Nate. I know where Hanford is. That's south of Fresno, isn't it? Or someplace down in that area. So you do have stuff to watch down there. Now, Hamilton is asking about comments. I'm not sure,
I don't know,
Hamilton, which comments you were talking about. I saw something earlier about trying to restore something. trying to restore a locomotive or something like that. I figured people reading the chat would have seen it. So right now I'm scanning the chat window here for specifically for questions for one of us, or maybe questions about that trip that we took to Utah that preceded this live thing. I keep realizing I'm still holding this, and I'm going to mention it again. If you guys join the TSG train crew, that's on Patreon, patreon.com/TSG multimedia. You can qualify to get one of these awesome shirts. Check that out. Then everybody will know you're a big time foamer when they see this. Or if you want, you can buy one of these amazing mugs. Oh, let me find it here. Look at this. You can get that usually on the videos. There's a box underneath the videos if you're watching on a computer, and this is one of the things that shows up in those boxes. These are $15, which to me sounds expensive, but everywhere I look for mugs like this, they cost more than $15. So I don't know. It sounds expensive, but it's kind of the going rate. I mean, they charge $15 for the dirt mugs over at Ely too. I'm sorry, for you it's Eli.
Eli, right?
Yeah, Eli, yeah. So yeah, so Hamilton is saying he wants to raise money to restore a locomotive for his grandpa, a retired engineer. What kind of locomotive?
A big one.
Yeah, I mean, if he's about to pass, I don't know how much time you have, Hamilton, but it might be a challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see.
I saw a comment earlier there. Was it Miguel Chavez? Is that
that's someone who watches?
Okay.
Yeah, Miguel's one of the long time.
Said that I have a cool G-scale layout, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Miguel would know too because he watches everything.
Yeah.
And thanks, Miguel. I really appreciate that you've stuck with the channel as long as you have and always commenting. I mean, there's a lot of actually you were one of the original viewers too. Mm-hmm. I remember he has a YouTube channel, really not terribly active, right? But
not anymore. It was more stuff. About 10 years ago. It was pretty active, but then I had to get a job and do stuff. Start adulting, so that was the end of that.
Yeah, I kind of made this my job, and goodness knows
that was more than 10 years ago now. Wow.
Yeah, I work hard enough at it too. So Lone Wolf is taking off. We'll see you later, Lone Wolf. Gary has a YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
It's just your name, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry if this is a hard question. Yeah. F40PH or Siemens SC44 F40PH all day.
Yeah, I don't really care. If it's a train and it's running past me, I'll watch it. I'll film it. I don't care. It was weird. Last night I was at it's the Central Coast Railroad Club. It's the local chapter of the NRHS. They have a meeting every third Friday, and I went last night. And while we're there, it's at the Santa Clara Depot where the SBHRS is. That's the place that I'm always going to run trains, and I did the open house videos and stuff there. And as I was there, it's outside of a depot, and there's a small UP yard. I guess they have a couple of tracks there. They're like, what do you call those? I guess it's an interchange track, really, because they'll drop off loaded cars there.
Siding.
Is it a siding?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, interchange track is more like what you do.
That's what you do if you're going between two railroads. Yeah.
Okay. So they have a couple of sidings there. I guess they're storage. Is it storage track, right? Or something like that? Is it just a siding?
I think it's a siding. I think it's a controlled siding. I mean, I don't know that territory, but that's what I think it is.
I think you're right. I just want to use the right terminology. That's all. Anyway, they have it there. And there were a couple of, or actually 3 UP units that were there to pick up a loaded rock train that came up from Watsonville probably earlier that day or possibly the night before. And they were doing a crew change off of these 3 because these 3 light-powered engines showed up. And as those engines were there, I think they were occupying one of the tracks that Amtrak usually uses, because down the coastline came a train, and it was on a Caltrain track, but it was all LEDs. The headlight and the ditch lights were all LEDs.
And whose unit was it?
That's what I'm getting to. So I'm looking at this going, because usually only Caltrain shows up on that track. It's not something that
usually only Caltrain has LEDs.
Only ditch lights, though. They have not changed their headlights to LEDs yet. Most of those are still incandescents.
I've seen a couple that were.
Well, they must be
Yeah.
in the process, but I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
some of the ditch lights are. This had all three. It was the headlights and the ditch lights, and I'm looking at it going, that looks like a charger to me. What's that doing on the Caltrain track? That didn't make any sense, but it was a charger, and it was a Capital that had come down, and somehow it was switched over. It must be a crossover that they installed sometime between 2005 and now. But that whole yard and everything's been redone.
Mhm.
The whole station's been redone.
What do they use? There's a just north of Lick.
Mhm.
There is a spur track on the west side
Okay.
that ends. It's about maybe 3,000 feet long.
Huh.
Do
Is
you
it
know what they
used?
use that for?
It
It
might-
just dead ends. It comes off the main line and just
It
dead
might be
ends out.
abandoned. I don't know.
No, it's
Is there an
new
industry there?
construction.
Oh.
It looks newly balanced and everything.
Don't know. But that might be one of those things that they're because UP's doing some stuff like they've changed how I guess the Salinas hauler does different work now that they didn't
Yeah.
used to do.
Extra work.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
UP's trying to, it seems like they're trying to really maximize their efficiency, or maybe not, maybe that's not the right way to put it. They're trying to get as much out of the workers as they can for as little money as possible.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're squeezing the crap out of people. And a lot of people are actually pretty mad about it. Anyway, let me check on
Shane
here.
Singleton talking about LEDs versus incandescents. I'm with you. I like the incandescents
Oh.
for headlights too.
In the models?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Really?
I like LEDs all
I
the
like
way.
the LEDs.
They look much better. And if you can do them with a fiber optic, like the way Dan used to do them with the flared lens,
Yeah.
that looks really good.
See, it might just be what I've seen because every time I've seen them, they either look too bright or they're the color's off. So that might be.
It's possible that
that's
someone
all
did
depends
the
upon
wrong.
the LED and how much
Yeah.
resistance you put in
Right.
series with it.
Yeah.
And you can control that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just haven't seen one done right.
Okay.
But here's the advantages to LEDs. They don't create a lot of heat. I know some people
Right.
have run bulbs
Mhm.
that have actually melted the model,
And they last forever.
right? And the LEDs last longer too. So
And they really look good as a Mars light.
they can definitely look better as all of the effects,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So I like LEDs. You can get warm white, so it doesn't have to look blue. I
Mhm.
know there was
Mhm.
one model. It was actually a Bachmann N-scale model that I took out the LEDs that were in it. This was a video that came out recently. It was a -8 from Bachmann Spectrum that I installed DCC and sound into. I put a warm white LED into that because the other ones that it came with were blue.
See, that's what I've seen. They
Yeah.
look kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're modeling, if somebody makes a Charger locomotive,
And the blue will look right.
it'll look right because that's what they are,
Exactly.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if someone has an F40 PH in Caltrain that they want to model one of the specific ones where the ditch lights have been changed to LEDs,
That'd be kind of cool.
they would want the blue
Mhm.
ones because that's
Yeah,
what they
right.
have. So anyway, let's see here. Some LEDs can be warm. This is exactly, Stu, what we're talking about.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
have to-
I've just not been educated on the wonders of LEDs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They run the gamut.
you're kind of old school too, though. Like, I mean, you would not have an LED on an American
Yeah,
Flyer. That would be
because
kind of
my
dumb,
light bulbs are about that big, and
right?
they get 10,000 degrees when you're running the engine.
Well, right, but you could though theoretically.
You could. There are people that do it, and I always
Yeah.
give them a load of crap for doing it because it's not authentic to the model. But
Right. He's
Yeah.
a rivet counter for toy trains.
yeah.
Is there such a thing as
Yeah.
a rivet counter for toy trains?
Well, I mean, I guess it's
It's
just
right here.
it's a collector, if you will,
Right.
because you want it to be as original as possible.
Well,
But
right. It's like
I guess that's a lie though, because I do have some LEDs in my G scale stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah.
yeah, but that's not the same as toy trains, though.
No, I'm just talking about as far as LEDs in my stuff. Because I was saying that I don't do it, but I do have some in the
Oh, and the
G scale
G-scale?
stuff. So yeah.
Well, it's a personal preference thing, and I
Yeah.
think if you see an LED installation done right,
Mhm.
you'll probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's all about the color of the LED, and the color of the LED is something you just choose when you buy it. So
Actually, I do like the one that you had in that Amtrak locomotive.
oh right,
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
was
That's
good.
an LED.
That
That's a
was good.
warm white LED.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
And we
actually
talked-
very accurate.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, looks very accurate. Looks very good. Okay, so let's see here. Mostly like 80s era, everything on real locomotives was incandescent. Right, and that's true, Shane, but you can make LEDs look like incandescents too. It's just a matter of what color they are. Dash 8s and Dash 9s. I also like the newer locomotives like that.
Those are not newer.
I guess Dash 8's not really newer, is it? Dash 9's a 90s thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think of them as newer because they're wide cab.
If you ever run one of those, you throw up just thinking about it.
Why? Do they shake a lot?
No, they're just horrible. They load slow.
Oh.
He
knows this stuff because he ran them.
Yeah.
When I say new, I think of anything that's a wide cab.
Yeah.
What's a wide cab?
Those are what the new ones are.
See, you retired too early for.
No, wait a minute.
Here, I'll show you what a wide cab
They're
is.
not white. No. A wide cab. The cab is the same width.
I know, but they call them wide cabs.
I know that's like a double stack.
It's
double stack is it's just a stack.
There's another word for it. There's another word for wide cab.
Safety cab, I think, is one of the terms.
It's the North American safety cab.
Yeah.
Or the
The cab is just the same width.
It is. The walkways are narrower because this part of the body is wider.
The nose is wider. You could call it a wide nose.
Yeah.
You could, yeah.
Call it a wide nose, but
It's
not
a wide nose.
cab.
Yeah.
I've also heard people refer to these as actually as wide bodies.
Right. They are wider bodies. There is a name, and it's escaping me now. This is a problem I have. I can never remember names of things for the wider bodies. Mm-hmm. There's actually a technical name for it. I just don't remember what it is.
Curvy.
No. It's it's right on the edge of my. This happens to me. It's right on the edge of my mind. I've almost got it, but I just can't get there. I'll think of it later on and probably yell it out like the Tourette's person. But I should mention that this is one of the locomotives that I'm thinking about selling. So if anybody wants a Spectrum Dash 8, this is the one I installed the DCC and sound into. I'll sell it to you if you want it. Just FYI.
And speaking of selling N-Gauge, I'm selling all my N-Gauge stuff too.
Did you put it up on eBay yet?
I haven't put anything up, but I'm going to sell it all on eBay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's all DC.
Well, some people like that.
That can be fixed.
Yeah. Some people like DC. Some people would prefer DC.
I have about 50 locomotives that I'm going to sell.
Right. He sent me a list of all.
Some of them have never been run. I have a GS4.
That's Kato.
That's a Kato. It's a GS4. I have another. I think it's a Concorde GS4. I think it's the 4436 in black.
I didn't even know Concorde made one of those.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's pretty, but I've never run it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, what's the name of the eBay seller that they should look for?
Locoboost.
Locoboost, like locomotive caboose?
Yes, Locoboost.
Locoboost, okay.
Yeah.
All right, someone's asking here in N scale. I think Max is asking whether the locomotive I was holding was at N scale, I think. And yes, it's N scale. That was the one I published a video on fairly recently. It's installing DCC into a Bachmann Dash 8. Shane is saying that he has some DCC, but mostly are DC. So you see what I mean? Some people are still on DC. Scratch build locomotives, HO scale. Really, Nathan? That's pretty cool. Now, that's a second comment. That's a second part to another comment he was making earlier. G-scale layout in Riverside. It would be awesome to do a layout tour for layout tours. HO scale in the same place, Miguel says. Southern California is one of those places where I'll get to it eventually. There are still a lot of layouts up here, private and club layouts, that I'm working on doing layout tours for the channel. And before long, we'll do a layout tour. Kevin's
update,
right? The San Benito Southern, we have plans to do an update layout tour of that because it has changed a fair amount. The track
changed a lot. The track plan is pretty much the same.
Yeah, the track is mostly the same, but it's all the accessory stuff, right? Because you put in the corral or the
stockyard. The stockyard, put in the stockyard.
There's music
put in the park.
Right, the music in the town, right? Yep. Music in the park.
You got the bandstand,
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Miguel just put it in. Cowl unit. That's what they call those.
Cowl.
Yeah, cowl.
Cowl, I thought referred to something like an F40PH, where the whole thing is.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
So that is the word I was trying to think of. Well, anyway, whatever. The point though is that they're wider in the body. As a matter of fact,
Me too.
Yeah, that we all get wide body as we get older.
Yeah.
You'll find out if you're not already there. I was going to mention that about that Bachmann. The reason I was able to fit the decoder that I put in that Bachmann Dash 8 is because it was a wider body.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do a install of a Soundtracks decoder recently into an SD70 that was not an SD70M or a wide-bodied SD70, just a standard SD70. And I got it all set up. I talked about this on the podcast. I got it all set up. I put it all together, and then I went to put the test fit the shell on, and it was too wide. The decoder was too wide. Everything else fit, but the decoder was too wide. So I learned the hard way that even if the person that you get the stuff from says, "Oh yeah, it'll fit," because that's what I was going on. I didn't bother to check before I started. I'll never do that again.
Measure twice and cut once.
Exactly. That was so embarrassing, but funny at the same time. I want to click this so that it shows up. Nathan was talking about the scratch building that he does on here.
Some of the parts on them are soda cans. Okay. Well, who was the company? That just reminded me. There was a company that made a beer can tank car kit. That
was an actual beer can?
Yeah, and you used a beer can for the actual...
For the tank.
Yeah, for the
tank.
tank.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We could use one of these. I got a beer can in here. I saved this. Yeah, here it is. This would look good rolling down the track. Check this out.
Is it an Iron Maiden?
It's an Iron Maiden beer can.
That's pretty cool.
That?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I got these things at Bevmo.
That's pretty awesome.
A while back. It's a little bigger, but that would make a good beer can, a good tank car, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to change the logo, though, to be this way. But yeah, this beer, it was funny. They came out with this a while back. Now I'm advertising beer.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm talking about beer.
Well, it is Saturday.
Oh, but it's Saturday morning. Well, yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Saturday morning was when I got hit by. I haven't told this story. At least I don't think I have. So I'm going to tell you guys something. I was on the way to record a layout tour at Jim Vale's.
It's beer 30.
Is that the scale? Oh,
no,
beer
no.
30 is the time.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. So I was on my way to Jim Vale's layout. That's a narrow gauge layout that I did a layout tour on last year. It was almost exactly a year ago. It was March 24th last year. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., slammed into by a drunk driver, totaled the car. I had my friend Dave with me. We went back to his house, took stock. We were both okay. I mean, we were sore because we had just been in an accident that totaled the car. So Saturday morning apparently is a time to drink for some people.
Well, this just took a depressing turn. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting story because I haven't told anybody that story about being totaled by a drunk driver at 8 a.m. on the day I went to do Jim Vale's layout tour. But the thing is, we had that layout tour scheduled for like a month, and there were people there waiting for us. We were late because I got my car totaled. But we survived.
That's a valid reason to be late, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I even had pictures to prove it in case anybody didn't believe us. Right? But anyway, we went and finished the layout tour. And boy, I'm really going off on a tangent here. I think because I was dreaming of the Iron Maiden beer. I bought this because I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. I almost wore my.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost wore my Iron Maiden shirt today for our video, for our live video thing. So I got this because it's Iron Maiden beer, and I really didn't like it. I thought it tasted really bitter.
Well, I had to educate you on beer before.
Yes, we did. We had that discussion before, but yeah. Anyway,
so that's the funniest thing, when we were at I think it was Nick's birthday party. Nice Hands.
Nice Hands, Nick.
Yeah, we were there, and he was playing all this good music.
Yes, he was.
This hard stuff, and John's there. He knows all the songs. And before this, I didn't know that John was into this good music, and I never pictured him as kind of the metal type.
What did you pick? I'm just curious.
I don't know, maybe like classic rock, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I like classic rock too.
Yeah. But yeah, there he is. He knows all the words to all these metal songs and everything. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm a rocker.
Yeah.
I started playing drums in 1984, and that's when the music was coming out of the 70s as far as rock goes. I think the music was that kind of music. I think hit a peak around the 70s,
Yeah.
up to about the mid 80s or so, and it got to a point where, at least to me, it got to a point where it all sounded the same. The sort of even the bands that came out in the early 80s ended up sounding the same as all the other bands that came out later on, like Motley Crue and Poison and Slaughter and all these groups. At some point, they just were so generically the same that something had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when grunge came out.
Yeah.
Which totally ruined good music for me. Because Nirvana and all that came out, and I was like, wow, whatever. I mean, what happened to the good guitar solos and all that? It didn't exist anymore.
Well, you listen to music now, and there's not even a guitar in the music. It's all
that does happen.
It's all done on a synth board, and it's like.
Do you know what I find though is that some of the contemporary country music sounds like 80s rock.
Yeah,
they just sing different.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And it's really not that.
Well, if you listen to Chris Stapleton, that's some good stuff there.
Is it? I don't even know. I've never even heard of him. The last time I did anything with Staples, I was considering between the Staples or tape.
Yeah. And it's the kind of like, it's the old school kind of like drink yourself to death type stuff. It's none of this happy music. We don't like that. Yeah.
So it is country then?
It is country, but it's more like old school, you know what I mean? Like it's not like modern country where it's more modern country's got a lot of rap in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but anyway.
Yeah, we're really going off track here. What do you think, Gary? What's your favorite jazz band or composer? You must have a favorite, right?
No, I don't. I can't think of any of it.
If we went out to your car right now and turned it on, what's on the radio?
Mostly the Great American Songbook.
Okay.
The 30s and 40s.
Okay.
Early 50s. Ella Fitzgerald and stuff like that.
How's that different? Is that different from big band stuff, or is it?
See, I get into a lot of big band
in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there would be some.
A lot of big band.
I grew up with big band because
jazz for me. Now Hunter likes jazz that is kind of nondescript. And I call it somebody practicing their scales on their saxophone. Once you deviate from the melody of the song, and you can't come in any place in the song and recognize what they're playing, it's just somebody practicing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
You have to keep the melody running through the entire composition, otherwise.
It gets lost.
It's just somebody practicing.
Kind of goes off track.
Yeah, off track. So I like jazz that keeps the melody.
Yep.
And that's the way I play.
Right. So he's a musician too. Very good. I heard your recordings on your piano.
I've never taken a lesson.
I never took a lesson on drums.
I played the trombone, so I guess we're all musicians.
You play tromboner?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. So you did
Yeah. Yeah.
I played kazoo. I'm real good at that.
Yeah.
Kazoo. What are the other great instruments? What's everyone's favorite instrument? What is it?
The Jew's harp. I think doing, 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 doing.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was called a mouth harp.
Same
no,
thing.
That mouth harp is mouth harp is a.
I think
that's a harmonica.
It is.
That's what I've heard that called. Yeah.
Is it? I've never heard that.
I don't know.
I thought the doing.
I always thought that the mouth harp and a Jew's harp were the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard it called a juice harp before.
Yeah.
Are you saying juice or Jews?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I've never seen it spelled.
Now we're talking about music and chat. That's good. This really went off on a tangent here.
Shane says it's mouth harp.
Mouth harp. Okay.
That's the thing that goes doing, 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 right?
Yeah.
It has a little springy thing on it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
use it for sound effects and cartoons
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I add in those sound effects sometimes on these modeling videos. Like if I'm cutting something
Yeah.
off a sprue and it shoots across the room,
Yeah.
it's a gunshot or,
Yeah.
or a boing or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So
Isn't that great when you're working on something and a spring shoots out and that's the end of it?
you never find. Well, you might find it like a year later. Like, oh, that's where that went.
You know,
Yeah.
I keep my floor really clean. I have a hardwood floor in my office, and I keep it really clean. And every once in a while, I'll lose a very small part.
And you can find it.
And I
Yes.
figure I can find it. But you know, I have even lost stuff on a very clean hardwood floor,
Mhm.
and I'll take a broom out and sweep to see if I can sweep it up someplace that I can't
Right.
see it, and still it gets lost.
Yeah.
Shane talking about the old Donald Duck cartoon inside the clock. That's one of my favorite old Disney shorts. So yeah, I'm glad somebody else has seen that too.
That was done on a mouth harp?
Yep.
Yeah. Tom McAdams says a vacuum finds it. Yeah, once your vacuum finds it, now you'll never find it.
Yeah.
So, but that happens to me too.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. Well, actually, you can see it back here. You can see back down here that this is a hardwood floor in here, laminate, and my
Kind
work.
of soft. I don't know.
It's a laminate floor, so it's a flat surface,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
without carpet.
Yeah.
And my workspace is just off
Yeah.
camera here to my right, and I drop stuff, and it's because it's small. It's N scale parts. Imagine if you were working Z scale, how
Oh.
much worse it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is I'll drop something or it'll fall,
Yeah.
and then I look on the floor thinking, oh well, it's a hard floor, so it's
Exactly.
easy to find.
Exactly.
But even little pieces of dirt or stuff or pieces of fuzz that collect on the ground makes it hard to find whatever fell. And sometimes you just hear it fall and you're not even sure what fell.
Sometimes I even know the area where it fell and go
Yeah,
look
you
at
still
it.
can't
exactly.
And occasionally I'll find it on the other side of the room.
It is,
That's because it bounced. Where you heard it fall is not where it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard at times. Oh, now that's a good idea. Someone says put a piece of pantyhose over the end of the suction part. That might work actually.
I've
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
heard of people
yeah,
doing
that'll
that.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that before. But then but there's another problem for me anyway. That means I have to go in to where the vacuum is and get the vacuum. Then I have to try to find some pantyhose, which I don't even know if we have any pantyhose in this.
Well, anything that's
Well, you can get them for like 50 cents at the,
nylon,
Well, right. Then I got to go.
a
buy it.
nylon stocking or something that it's
You can
Yeah,
probably
get it
even
for-
put a sock over it, because
That
the
might work.
vacuum
Yeah,
would still
fine
suck
sock.
through the
Sock
sock.
over it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Does that keep it warm? You put a sock over it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see if there's any other pieces here. Someone's taken off. Hamilton taking off. Thanks for-
Adios.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Okay, Tom, I lost. I don't know what a UDE light is, but anyway, never to be seen again. Just impossible. What's a UDE light?
An desired emergency,
I don't know. Is it?
DE.
Is it? I don't know. I've never heard that before.
In railroad terms, that's what
Yeah,
we used
that's
to
what
call
it is.
UDE is when the train goes into emergency.
Oh, so it must be one of those red lights then, huh? SP, the red light. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
red light, yeah.
So how did you lose that? Was it just a lens that fell out of a SP package or what? David Lou Brandt says narrow gauge Z. Does anybody even do that? I've never heard of ZN30 or ZN3. Can you imagine that?
That-
Wow. Like you might as well just play with bugs, like little ants or something, They'll move without having to work on them. Okay. Sunrise metal part.
Okay, so like
Oh,
a
so-
detail part.
Yeah, it must have been like a casting for the
Mhm.
for the emergency light. Yeah. Well, anyway, we've been going on here for about an hour,
We
and
have.
it doesn't
Wow.
it doesn't seem like there's a lot of questions about the video that was played earlier. So we
That
should,
means you did a good job.
I guess, right? So one last thing. One last thing. Go buy a mug. Go buy an overpriced, expensive Chasing Trains mug if you like chasing trains. They're usually in a little picture below the video screen. If you're looking on a computer, you can go get one of those if you want to. What is this? Narrating it and answering questions in chat. Okay, cool. Thanks, Shane. That was kind of the point, I guess, of of when we're doing chasing trains, I come on and do those little commentaries to try to, explain to people what's going on. So I guess it worked. Should also mention, sorry guys, I have to do this just because I'm trying to keep the Patreon thing up. You can get a shirt like this if you become a train crew member on Patreon, right? The ones at Patreon, this is a special one. This is the only one of its kind, actually.
Looks like it's printed in reverse from the camera here. Do they see it like that, or do they?
No, they see it right side. Yeah.
Okay.
But what my point here is, this is a special one that's only for top secret. People who watch your channel know what top secret is, right? But the train crew members on Patreon end up with shirts, some of them. And it is backwards?
It is, I guess it is backwards, yeah.
Well, later on when the video processes, it'll be correct.
Okay.
So quick here, Toyman television channels in Salt Lake City. That's right, Dale Angel. I met him at the N-Scale convention last year. I don't think he knew who I was, but I met him, and he's a cool guy. He and his wife, Toyman Television, they go around and
I like his channel.
Yeah, it's a cool channel. They don't
Toyman. I've seen his channel.
Yeah, they don't do just train stuff. They do a lot of different stuff.
Other stuff.
Yeah,
too,
but it's a cool channel, and I think he used to be in broadcasting somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I
believe so. Yeah, I've seen one of his episodes where he talked about it.
Oh, okay. So he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
he's been into video way back to the 70s.
Right. We might run into him when we're out there, next month.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do, then it'll be good to meet him again, and hopefully, if we do get to meet him, we can ask him about that, because I've been kind of curious. He does very good production value.
Right.
So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so Patreon. Yeah, if you have a couple bucks a month to spare, I have a Patreon channel that I started back in September. The idea, really, what I'm trying to do with Patreon is trying to make it so that I'm getting enough from that I can turn the ads off from YouTube, because YouTube puts ads in my videos, and I have them on there so that it will generate some cash flow, but it doesn't generate much. So the idea I had was, if I could get a Patreon presence going, and if you have, out of 26,000 plus subscribers, even a small percentage of those people kicking in $2 a month, which is like 7 cents a day. And if you get enough, it adds up to enough to do this, to pay for stuff. So once the Patreon page is big enough, I can turn ads off on YouTube so that you don't have to be interrupted watching the videos. Because I know when I try to watch a video, because I'm trying to remember which episode something was, because I'm going to comment about it on a podcast or something like that, I get these ads, and it's like I don't even want it there. As the person who made the video, I don't want the ads there. Anyway, so if you go to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia, you can sign up and you get stuff like mugs. This Chasing Trains mug is not the one from Patreon, says Train Crew on it instead, and only Patreon people get the Train Crew mug.
Coffee not included.
Yeah, no coffee. You'll have to fill it yourself. And then the other thing I want to mention before we take off is the fact that I am selling some of the models that I have. These are the HO scale ones, but if you look on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I posted some on there last week with pictures and everything. I got some N scale stuff and some HO scale stuff that I'm trying to sell those to try and raise some money to help pay for the trip to Utah next month. So I think that's really it. If there's anything else here, does anybody else have any other questions before we take off here? So Shane says that it is straight on his feet.
Okay,
so it was my understanding that it only does this for us because people are accustomed to looking in a mirror. So if I were over on that side, it would look weird and we might get confused. And you'd be okay because you're in the middle, but Gary might think that he's looking handsome and young like me. Right. I might look in there and say, "Oh, I've really aged."
Yeah.
If it was swapped.
I don't know. Your hair is almost as gray as mine. It's getting there.
Yeah.
And you're 25 years younger than I.
Yeah. And Top Secret said it's getting thin on top, but I haven't noticed it. Can you see that? You can see my scalp right there. Look.
No, you're not going to go bald. Or anything.
The person that I used to have my hair cut by said, "Oh no, you have really dense, thick hair, and it's great.
That's
It'll
like
last
me.
forever."
I'm going to be 76, and I still have all my hair.
76. I thought you were older than
a
that.
couple of weeks.
Well, happy birthday in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. What is your actual birthday?
The day before Cinco de Mayo.
So it's Cuatro de Mayo.
Cuatro de Mayo.
Well, happy birthday. Send birthday cards to Gary. All right. So we're going to do one last look at this. Seeing your ads on Facebook. Oh, cool, Tom. So you know what I'm talking about. Shane says it costs money to buy the stuff. Yes, it does. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. May 4th.
Be with you.
Yeah.
That's right.
So costs money to buy production gear, software, blah, blah, blah. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, Shane. That's exactly right. And the thing is, for me, luckily, I had a job in sales for the 10 years before. So between 2005 and 2015. And I saved up some money, But the problem is, you can't just whittle through that. It's supposed to be for retirement. So, I took kind of a stupid risk, and I admit it, to go out and do what I'm doing. So what happened was I have no cash flow. So it's hard to get to, to do stuff. That's why I started the Patreon thing in the first place, because it became apparent to me that YouTube wasn't going to pay for much, because the ads on YouTube don't generate a whole lot of income. So, but there's the thing though, and I've talked to people about this who say it's better to be happy with what you're doing and not make any money than to make money and be miserable. And it would be nice to find something that you can do both, where you're not miserable, but you're making enough money to pay for things. I think because I really enjoy what I do. I love to do the videos. I love going to do things. Like we went to Reedley for the Reedley Railfest a few weeks ago. That video came out last weekend, and it was really great. I mean, I get to go around and see really cool stuff. Going to Ely last year, going to Utah last year.
Speaking of your Reedley one, I saw that video. I got to go and see that place.
You haven't been there?
It's awesome.
Never been
Yeah,
there.
it's really cool.
Really.
Yeah, it's really cool. But my point is that I get to do a lot of really neat stuff, and I really, really enjoy doing it. Sometimes it's hard to sometimes be in the moment and enjoy it, because I always have the camera.
You're always looking through the lens. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always trying to film because I'm trying to make
You see everything
content
through the lens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my memories of things are the videos.
Instead of kicking back and relaxing and watching it happen before you.
But you did get set on fire, didn't you?
Yes, I did in the tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah, if you watch the Reedley Railfest video from last week, toward the end, we go through a tunnel and you can see all these cinders coming out of the stack of this thing, because it was a wood burning locomotive, or it's not really even a locomotive.
It's a locomotive. It's a vertical boiler locomotive.
That vertical boiler one. Huh?
Yeah. Well, the cinders came out.
Yeah, I saw all that.
And when it landed on me, you can see it kind of go like a cigarette. It gets brighter, but then it goes out, because I guess clothing has rayon or something in it that makes it's a flame retardant. Otherwise, I would have probably caught on fire.
Well, that's why I learned from the last time I was there. I wore my long sleeve shirt and my jeans that day.
Yes, I did.
Yep, I'm not catching on fire this time.
Yeah.
And he had a spark arrestor on that thing too.
Pretty serious spark arrestor, but obviously it's not enough. Can you imagine if it didn't have that?
Yeah.
What would have been coming out of that stack? Wow. Yeah, that would have been nuts.
Why is there no models of sideways car carriers? That's a good question.
You mean the Vertipacks? There are models of that.
Are there?
Yeah, Exactrail came out.
That's
with
the one where they come up like that.
Yeah. It was for Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was only for specific cars, and I think Vega was the one.
That was the only one, I think.
Oh, was
the only
it?
car.
So it was only for Vegas.
Yeah, and that was designed by the SP.
Right. Yes, it was an SP specific thing. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Southern specific.
Southern specific. Yeah.
It looks like Tom Pilling is on. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you. So yeah, what is this? Oh, see, and this is what Tom's talking about right there. It's never good to sell out and become rich while being beholden to stuff and interests you don't believe in. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's what I kind of had to do. Now, there's a challenge though, because when you're not in one of those terrible jobs, making a bunch of money, it's hard to pay for things. So, otherwise, that's the other thing. When I started the Patreon, there were some people that sent me messages. Oh, what are you doing this for? You're just greedy or something. It's like, no, I actually need it. I mean, the cash flow is a serious problem. And I mean, I'm not going to get too much into it. I've probably said enough about it already, but I don't ask for anything if it's not a need, for real. I mean, it's just that's not my style of doing things. People who have known me for a long time know that, but I don't, people who watch on YouTube don't, even though you see me talk and I talk to you about stuff that means something to me on podcasts and all that, it's easy to feel like you know somebody like that, but you don't necessarily. I mean, I think you guys pretty get an idea because we've hung out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you probably know what I'm about, and I just wouldn't ask for something if I didn't actually need it. So that's why I started the Patreon thing. I haven't inherited money, and I don't have some huge lottery windfall or something like that. It would be nice. I think that would be a great problem to have. People always say that. People with money always say the answer to happiness isn't money, right?
Well,
it would be a great problem. Let me find out. If you have more money than you can spend, make me rich and let me learn that lesson. Because I will tell you this, it's a lot easier to pay for things. And if you're not having to worry about paying your mortgage next month, that's a lot of stress off of you. So it might not make you happier, but it makes it a lot easier to deal with day-to-day stuff. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here because I'm sure everybody has to go to the bathroom by now. And I know I could use a little break. And so we're going to, Dave just mentioned something very important, that a little donation to Patreon gets you access. Dave knows because he's here, let me put this on here. Oh, where did it go? There was a comment that just came on asking people to subscribe to ATSF, Ventus, Spur, and Scalar. I want to second that. ATSF, Ventus, Spur, and Scalar is Tom. He's also a part of the train crew. And recently, he's one of the people I was talking earlier in this live stream. Sorry, guys, this will just take a second, but I want to mention this. He was talking about, oh, there it is. Okay, good. Thanks, Dave. He was talking about Tom's channel. Tom is one of the people, ATSF, Ventus, Spur, and Scalar, who does those live streams I was talking about. Okay. They have one. There's 4 guys, and I think 3 of those 4 guys were on the chat today, including Tom, where every Tuesday they do something called the roving. I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to do one in July because there's only 4 of these guys, but some months have 5 Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have anyone for the 5th. And I said, well, I'll do it if you want, because I want to do some of this live streaming like this. So On Track Tuesday, that's it. Mm-hmm. So I knew it had a catchy name like that, but I couldn't remember. That was my fault because I just can't remember stuff, like Cal. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened was YouTube recently changed one of their policies where you can't stream live from a phone unless you have 1,000 subscribers or more. Well, Tom is a truck driver and he always streams from his phone. So he can't do On Track Tuesday until he either gets a laptop that he can tie in with his phone, because you can do a mobile hotspot. Yeah, the mobile hotspot, yeah. Right? Or until he gets 1,000 subscribers. Well, he has like 350. So if everybody goes and subscribes to Tom's channel who sees this, he'll end up with 1,000, right? And it'll help him out, and he can do the live streams again. Yeah. So I wanted to mention that since he's here, and it just thought one of the things that Top Secret tells me. Top Secret's my wife, Sydney.
Well, now the secret's out.
The secret. She's not Top Secret anymore, but thanks, Shane. That will help him out. One of the things that she tells me, and I agree with her, is if you can help somebody out, why not? Mm-hmm, especially if it doesn't cost you anything. And that's one of the things that I've been wanting to do. It's like with Mike, trying to help him get the word out about his Promontory video that he seems to well, I'm not going to go there, but one of the things I wanted to have him here to talk about that so that
To
you get more
promote it.
people to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a fairly sizable audience that ends up seeing these videos. That's one of those things that's kind of in my nature to help people. So that's what we're doing here. And if more people can get subscribed to ATSF, Ventuspur, and Scalar, he'll be able to do the On Track Tuesday roving live stream again. So, oh, look at this. He's in Salt Lake City right now. How about that?
Yeah.
Watching us on his mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
You're a couple weeks early, Tom. We would have met up with you if you'd been there a couple weeks from now when we're there. But if you happen to be there when we're there, you know how to get a hold of me. Sparky is asking if there's a super chat button on here. I disabled super chat. And the reason why, for those of you who don't know, and if you guys don't know, super chat is something where somebody in the chat window can push this little dollar sign. Do you see the dollar sign?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they donate some amount.
Oh, yeah.
So you donate $5 and then it highlights your comment.
And the thing pops up there on the screen.
Yeah.
People know that you're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the reason why I disabled that is because YouTube takes half of it. So if you went on Super Chat and said, I'm really going to help John out today and give him $100, YouTube takes $50.
Oh, you're kidding.
Or somewhere thereabouts. So I thought, you know what? Don't do Super Chat. Oh, I'm not going to wear a wig, Dave. That's your trick. This guy, Sparky, he does live chats on Wednesdays, and he's always doing something that's really cool. He does stuff on a layout. Like he's building a diorama right now. Mm-hmm. And this is for the people watching too. I'm going to explain it to these guys. And he has Super Chat on. And every time someone does a Super Chat, he gets wacky. He puts on a wig. So it's like Super Chat with a what do you call it? Cross-dressing dude, you know? And sometimes he looks really cute too.
Wow.
Dave, they take more than 30%. I tried that 30%. I tried the Super Chat, and when I saw how much came in, I went back and looked, and it was about half. But even 30% is outrageous. If you want to help, go to Patreon, or you can go to paypal.me, I think is another one, where if you want to do a one-time thing. He says not so much cross-jet dressing. Yeah, but you're so cute, Dave, when you have the wigs on. Yeah, it's not cross-dressing. It's not like he's wearing a dress, okay? But that's okay. Even if you wanted to, I would just laugh the whole time. You know, it's like, oh my God, look what he's doing, you know? Anyway, yeah, Dave's not a cross-dresser. That's not his thing. He just puts on the wigs, and now he's getting embarrassed.
He's blushing, yeah.
Yeah, getting embarrassed.
Yeah, but
anyway,
if he wants to, he can do that.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with
Shane
that.
just subscribed to see him cross.
No, but you should subscribe to Dave's channel because he does stuff. Here's the thing, okay? He's promoting the hobby, and it's a lot of fun. I go just to chat with the people in the room and get a kick out of whatever Dave's doing. It's not always perfect. Dave's not a master modeler, you know, but he's showing you and he's making it accessible. You know, it's like, here's how you make trees. Here's a kit that you make trees. Then he gives away a kit. So like he'll write the number, he'll write a random number based on how many people are watching. And then he'll say, okay, everyone put a number in the screen, and whoever puts in the number that he wrote down without showing people, right, wins the kit. And then he'll mail it to them. And he has a Patreon page that pays, you know, for the shipping to mail stuff. So he's promoting the hobby in a really fun and positive way.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I think it's great. Yeah, and in case anybody hasn't seen the podcast from this month, I had an interview with Dave. We got on Skype and talked together for a while, and he put on a wig during the interview. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so we're going to do, there's someone saying we don't know what he does behind closed doors. And whatever he does behind closed doors is fine with me. Anyway, yeah, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. Yeah, just people talking the orange hair. Yeah, the orange wig is one of the funniest ones.
Container Man 68. I'm already subscribed to your channel, so.
Oh, are you on containers?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Container Man also is part of the train crew. That's Roy. Yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to wrap this up because we've been going for close to an hour and a half, and I think I had to pee about a half hour ago. And so I just want to thank everybody for watching. And thanks to all the train crew members that showed up. Really appreciate that and appreciate your participation in being on the train crew. Dominic, I'm sorry you showed up late. We're there's another call for more subscribers. So subscribe to Container Man 68 too, because doesn't Container Man do one of the Tuesday roving streams? I thought he was one of them. I don't remember. I know Creative Rails, Boxcar Benny. I know Tom. I think Vinny does it too, and I think Container Man might be the other fourth person. Anyway, go to live roving live. What do you call it? Tuesday train on track Tuesday. That's it, and see who does it. I just don't remember all the people who do it, and that'll work. Tell you what, guys, I'll leave the camera running here for an extra 20 or 30 seconds when I'm done talking, and you can put in your in the comments below. You can put in if you want to plug your own channel. Not the chat screen. If you're on and you want to plug it on the chat screen, that's fine. But later on, you'll be able to put a comment below. It won't show up right away because I have to approve any comments that have links in them. But if you want to put a little link to your channel in the comment section of this video, please do. And yeah, there we go. Thanks, Dave. I just don't remember. My memory just sucks because I have so much stuff that I have to remember that I don't have room for other stuff. And looks like Roy does spontaneous live streams. Okay, cool. But anyway, I'm sure they're interesting in any case. And anybody who's nice enough to be part of the train crew deserves a plug on the channel. So definitely subscribe to Container Man. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we take off? Mm-hmm. Anything burning issues or topics?
No.
Just have to pee.
That's burning a little bit.
If it burns when you pee, you need to see a doctor. Preferably one with a glove on.
Yeah.
And what's that other thing? If you're getting the I'm not gonna
we're not gonna
talk about that. So the camera's gonna run for about 20 seconds now, and we're just gonna pretend we're not doing anything interesting. And thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
And that's the way it is. Saturday, April 20th, 2019.
420.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, 420 people. Okay, so I'm just watching the clock up here. When that says 25, I got to hit this button down here.
Okay.
We could pretend we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
We could.
Yeah.
I did that with Trevor and Paul and Eric one time.
Yeah.
But I have to keep watching the timer. Oh, shoot, it's time. Bye.